Thank you, sir. Data is indeed a gold mine, as you mentioned, and informed planning on the shoulders of remote sensing and other geospatial technology help make the best out of it. We would now be inviting Mr. I. M. Bahuguna, Deputy Director, Earth, Ocean, Atmosphere, Planetary Sciences and Applications Area from the Space Application Center. Dr. Bahuguna has, to his credit, more than 60 research papers published in reputed journals, including a co authorship in a recent paper published in the Science Journal. He is a recipient of the ISRO Team Excellence Award for 2008 for his contribution in the Himalayan snow and glacier studies. Sir, I please invite you on stage.
Just looking at there. Good morning, all delegates to this Geospatial Leadership Summit, all the participants and delegates, guests. Good morning to all of you. And we have the presence of Director, National Remote Sensing Center, Dr. Prakash Chauhan, and all rest of the colleagues from Space Director, Punjab Remote Sensing Center, sector. Now, about remote sensing, it is a session on harnessing remote sensing for geospatial, for economic development and economic growth of the country. Basically, I represent Space Application Center Ahmedabad. You can say mother of all the remote sensing science development and applications in the country. And we are covering most of the applications related to land, ocean, and atmosphere, and also ventured into planetary remote sensing for a couple of years. In my presentation, I'll be just giving you an overview that in what way we are producing geospatial data and addressing to the needs of the nation through that, and how we are addressing various issues required for the country. And I'll say India is one of the very few countries really where geospatial data or the remote sensing actually has been used for finding solutions various problems, needs in the states, and also we are addressing the science issues which are required globally, and we are really playing a very important role in the country ways. So coming to my main talk slide. Okay, you're saying that. When we say we have to use remote sensing for various generation of geospatial data and addressing the various requirements, various needs, etc., we have to undergo various steps, various processes to that level. And these processes involve, defining sensors for the country, for the nation, for ISRO, and what kind of sensors are required, what is the repeativity, what are the solutions, requirements, etc., to reach to a definition which is required for the specific application. Then we also have to have techniques for retrieval of various parameters from the data. Now I can say biogeophysical parameter, which include biophysical parameter as well as geophysical parameters. So we need to have techniques for retrieval and to produce various products which can be used for various applications. This is another step which is required in harnessing remote sensing. and then geospatial data analysis tools, etc., for online visualization and otherwise for finding the solution to a specific problem. They are the and then finally we go to the applications for the societal benefits, societal needs. So this is the way we progress in our work towards achieve towards utilizing the remote sensing. As you are already aware that ISRO has a series of satellites in optical region and optical spectrum, then microwave region, then radiometers, spectrometers, and then radar satellites, and in optical also the multispectral and the hyperspectral sensors are also being launched. And this is at various spatial resolutions and repetitivities which are being done by ISRO for the for you can always use the data from other countries, from other space agencies, but to have dependability on our own data is foremost for us. So that is the way we are progressing. And one of the most important application in the country, in our country, has been, which has been carried on for the last more than 4 decades, is the agriculture sector, for which remote sensing has given contributed maximum. And it involves the crop acreage estimation, crop then but earlier it was being classification techniques, and now these days AI based techniques application, etc. And so, and we have about covered 15 crops. We have to do much more for very various crops. And then now because our goal has come down to a farm level identification of the crops, so we are progressing in that way. So that is one of the major contribution in agriculture sector. We have by producing the geospatial data of the cropped areas, we are contributing to the economic development or economic growth of the country by giving sharing the data with the various ministries. And then crop insurance, as has been discussed in earlier lectures, is one of the main application now going on, because various claims are made on the farm level, and how remote sensing can help in settling those claims, etc., is one of the major applications. Then crop analytics and to the farmers, we are giving advisories in terms of agromet advisories by deriving various products from the satellites, and then making a composite and making a be shared with the various state Kisan Seva Kendra, etc., so that our products are being used by the farmers. And then agromet advisories. Now that as far as agriculture is concerned, the local level solutions are also being found by using drone data, etc., and then by using by you know um, you can say processing of the drone data, etc., that local level solutions are being found. There has been also progress and attempt and achievements as crop level identification, then like for example kind of crop, onset of sowing, etc., at farm level using AI techniques, in which our team is working toward finding online information. You can go to, say for example, in our villages, you can go to a particular this thing, and you can click to a particular application where you can find out that in this area whether there has been a crop for a long time, or when it was not there, and at pixel level you can find out the status of the crop for the country using, and that for that the data which is being used is AWIPS data which is regularly coming, and then based on that data you can find out what is the status of the crop at that field level. If you overlay the field boundaries, you will exactly get the status of that. This is online visualization technique which is available to the users for finding out this. Like that, geospatial spatial assessment of desert locust was also done. A attempt was done to find out the movement of the locust, etc., using the geospatial data and other meteorological data. So that is the kind of work which is going on in the for the agriculture sector. And uh, there has been enormous growth as far as this sector is concerned and remote sensing data is concerned. Similarly, for forest areas, there has been phenomenal growth of the remote sensing, starting from the forest acreage, or you can say forest area, and then finding the biomass of the forest, then finding out the forest disturbance, forest fire, etc. All these sectors have contributed to the economic growth of the country. And by utilizing the geospatial data created as a result of using the data for forest phenology, etc., we have contributed to the economic development in the country by giving such kind of products or the values. For particularly biomass is required as far as climate change studies are concerned. Forest biomass is one of the important factors, and radar data has been used for this purpose. Similarly, for water sector, various dimensions of water sector are being addressed. For example, starting from snow and glaciers, which gives perennial water to us, and through the rivers of Indus, Ganga, and Brahmaputra, and by creating geospatial data of glaciers in the country and also snow, we are contributing to the development of water that is coming from the snow melt or the glacier melt, etc. By giving such well advanced planning can be done, and this is the contribution is playing then in the flood control, and also now flood forecast sensing data is being used, and online visualization find out where is the what is the area of the flood inundated by the flood. So that is work is going on in the flood areas. Then reservoir and river monitoring, water level of the reservoirs, water level of the rivers, which is being used by altimeters are being used to find out the water level of the reservoirs and rivers, to estimate the discharge in the rivers. Now, currently, our scientists are working on finding the total discharge of the rivers going to the sea, as using the altimeter data and using the water level data. So these are the techniques which are being used, geospatial techniques for the in the water sector. Another application, which is the groundwater, and groundwater is one of the important. We started remote sensing with groundwater mission, national drinking water mission, and it is now using the advanced techniques on the groundwater part, which is very important part of the water sector. Then, as national wetlands are concerned, recently we completed the entire country at 1:50,000 scale for the national wetlands, which has various categories of the wetlands, and entire map has been prepared. The map shown in this slide is also basically a compressed map of the wetland, and this wetland map has been generated recently by involving more than 28 state centers, that we have reached to this level of this is the third time that a wetland map has been second time a wetland map has been prepared for the entire country, which will be used by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Now, for flood risk assessment, etc., AI techniques are being used to identify those areas which are flood inundated or flood prone, etc. That is the work which is going on. And now we are able to generate cover and using AI techniques and find out was there a few days back or no. It is very important in the hilly region that which areas or roads are blocked by the snowfall. Earlier it used to be from other sources or say mobile, etc. But now online facility is there to you can see which area is covered with snow and which area is not. So based on that you can plan your strategy in the hilly region. That is the advantage of using this AI techniques for snow cover and finding out which part of the region is blocked by snow and how. You can manage your transport, etc. accordingly. Now, in urban sector also, remote sensing is playing role as far as planning, infrastructure, and other things are concerned in the urban hydrology also. And this is very important. This is going to be most important sector in coming years in the country. And we have the enough techniques and the expertise and you to generate such kind of geospatial data for urban planning and urban infrastructure, which can be used for the various planning of the urban cities. So that is the work which is going on in the urban sector. Like that, as it has been said, that is moving forward.
purpose if I want data?
Yes, it is in principle available. Now, if you specifically require the data, geospatial data,
Geospatial data, right?
so you will have to, of course, you will have to write to the concerned people,
Okay.
and they will share, but you will have to tell them the purpose of that, and you must be associated with some institution to share that data. So there is no issue. We have just made a policy to how
Okay,
to
sir.
disseminate this data to various users and scientists.
Okay,
So
sir.
and because many more demands are coming.
And
So
next, my question major is, sir, right now I'm facing a problem regarding drain mapping because I couldn't find a data of drain actually in anywhere. Like in SOI also, I have not couldn't find the data of drains because if I'm finding drains using ESTA data, so only major drains are available from there. Actually, like in Delhi, I couldn't find the Najafgarh drain or Shahadra drain easily, but there are so many drains which could not be found using remote sensing data. But as per like PMO, and we are working for rejuvenation of rivers, so Asi and Vaduna, so I couldn't be able to find out the river. Now it become a nala actually. This is very bad.
using high resolution data, you should find out. But if there has been any further development in that area, then it might be difficult. But specific to your issue and problem, email to us or to any concerned department, and you will find out.
Department is there like because like we couldn't find the shape files of streams or some like that. So drain mapping is just available in any of the concerned department.
No, trade mapping as such will not be, until unless there was a requirement, there would not have been, totally. But in the drainage maps of India, whether with using high resolution, there you can definitely find out that drains. It's not very difficult.
So if we reach to you or any concerned department, then they will help us. Right?
We will definitely help you in that.
Thank you so much, sir.
We
Thank you.
need to have good data and high resolution data for that.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes.